I'm Laura McBride and welcome to part 1 of my Nutcracker design workshop. I really hope you enjoy this workshop, so let's get started. Hi everyone and welcome to my Nutcracker design workshop. So I'm going to be doing 3 nails with a Nutcracker design going across all 3. So this is super salon viable because 2 of the nails are really quite simple, and then we've got our Nutcracker design on that central nail. So for the first nail, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in with my base coat. Now obviously if you were doing this on a client, you will have done your prep. And then I'm going to go in with my base coat and I'm just going to do a full cover glitter on this nail, okay? So it's entirely up to you whether you want to do a colour underneath of this, but we're going to be fully covering it in glitter, so I really don't feel the need to do that. So on the second nail, we are going to go in, and this is going to be like the middle of his jacket, okay, so where the buttons come down on the central area of his jacket, and his jacket is going to be green. So I'm going to come in with my green gel polish. So obviously if we were doing this on a client, we will have done our prep and our base coat and then gone in with our colour. Okay, so I'm just giving that a really nice even coat so we get a nice even cure. And if you were doing this on a client, you'd be making sure that you're steering clear of the cuticles, the side walls, and also capping that free edge. So I've got my nail that we've just base coated, and I'm going to use the Unicorn's Den from the Christmas collection, and this is Poppin' Prosecco, and this is the fine mix. So they do 2 different types of mixes. They do the same colour in a tinsel mix and also a fine. So I'm using the fine, and I'm just going to pop this into a triangle tray just to help me to be able to distribute it across the nail. So I'm just going to go in with a brush, and this is an old gel brush, and I'm just going to pop my glitter into that inhibition layer across the entirety of the nail, right the way down to our free edge. And at the moment I'm just pressing that glitter into that inhibition layer, making sure that we've got that coverage right the way to the cuticle and also into those side walls. So I'm just getting a brush now, and I'm just going to go over that horizontally and vertically, making sure that we've got that coverage. Okay, so again I'm going to go in with my base coat, and I do use a separate base coat for this so that we don't get glitter in our everyday base coat. So I have a base coat separate for normal polish and also for glitters. So again, giving that really nice even coat, making sure that we're also capping that free edge. With glitter, that is super important to make sure that you don't get any hatchy areas on the nail or on that free edge of the nail. And I'm just going to get rid of that overspill of glitter, and then I'm going to do my second coat on my green. So again, coming in just like we would a normal polish, steering clear of the cuticles and the side walls, and also capping that free edge. So again, that's going to go in for a full cure. So because this is a normal gel polish, it is 30 seconds. And we're going to do our second coat of glitter on our glitter nail. So again, just working into that inhibition layer, pushing that glitter down in, not worrying about smoothing it out just yet. And you could do this with a chrome as well, so you could use a gold chrome. So making sure it's all pushed in, and then going in with our slightly softer, fluffier brush and just flattening out that product, or that glitter I should say, making sure that it's nice and smooth and that we haven't got areas that are sticking up. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that to one side, and then I'm going to go in with my top coat. So this is a shiny top coat, and I just want to seal all of that glitter in. So again, if we were doing this on a client, you're steering clear of their cuticles and side walls and making sure we've got that really nice smooth finish. And again, capping that free edge. Okay, so that's now going to go in for a full cure, and now I'm just going to get rid of this excess glitter. And now we're going to go in on this green and create a red stripe right down the centre. So it's entirely up to you whether you use a normal gel polish or whether you go in with a painting gel. So I'm going to use a painting gel because it holds its own weight better than a gel polish. So if you are using a gel polish, just be aware that it is going to start to spread a lot quicker than if you're using a painting gel. So I'm going to go in with my striping brush to create my line down the centre. So I'm going to get my central point, okay, on the cuticle and that free edge, and then I'm going to go to either side of it because this isn't going to be a thin line, it's going to be slightly thicker, so I would say about 7 mil in thickness. So coming all the way down the nail, making sure that we're carrying that right off the free edge, and then the same distance away from that central point, and then carrying it down the nail. Then I'm just going to fill in that negative space that we've created, just using my striping brush, making sure that that line's really nice and crisp, and then looking at it as a whole. So I need to come out a little bit further on this side. And this is why using a painting gel is so much easier than using a gel polish, because it is staying where I put it, it's not bleeding out, whereas a normal gel polish would want to bleed out. So I'm just looking at it from this angle now, just to get those lines really nice and straight, and it's worth taking your time over this, because if they're not, it will throw the eye out, and we don't want that. So I'm just going over it now to make sure that we've got that nice even coverage, so that when we go in for a cure, it's nice and even. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that in now for a full cure. And while that's curing, we're going to do a little bit of crystal placement on our glitter nail. So with this, again, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a red line, and I'm going to do it slightly off center. So you can do this central if you want to, but with the crystal placement that we're doing, I think it would look really nice just off center. So again, using my striping brush, coming over that free edge, and then I'm going to do a horizontal line, again not in the center, but you can if you want to, and I'm going to come this way and then this side as well, and also making sure that we come right to that side wall without having any contact with the skin on our client's side wall. So I'm just going to pop that in now for a full cure. And this one has now fully cured, and we're going to go in and create some gold lines. So again, I'm going to use a painting gel to do this rather than a gold polish. But if you want to use a gold polish, you can, but it would mean that you would just have to do a couple of lines and then cure rather than doing all of them. So before I go in with my horizontal lines, I'm just going in with my slightly finer striping brush, okay, and I'm going to come down either side of my red line. So letting my brush do the work for me and carrying that all the way down to that free edge. Again, loading up my brush, making sure that it's a nice even load, because we don't want any lumps, bumps or bobbles in there, because that will translate into our line. And then coming this side, laying our brush down. Again, letting our brush do the work for us and taking it all the way down. If you do run out of product, then just start further up the line and lay that brush down again. Okay, so again, that is now going to go in for a full cure. And then with this snail, we are going to pop our top coat on. So not only is this going to smooth out our glitter application, but it is also going to make sure that we have sealed in that red line that we have just put on and smooth out the entirety of that design. So again, if you're doing this on a client, make sure that you are steering clear of the cuticles, sidewalls, and also capping that free edge. And this is going to help by doing this second coat of top coat on top of our glitter. It's going to really smooth it out. So if your clients are prone to picking, they're not going to be tempted with any little particles of glitter that are standing up. So that's going to go in for a full cure now. And then while that's in there curing, I'm going to create the lines that are going to go horizontally across this design. So I am going to do 3 lines, again using this gold painting gel and my slightly thicker striping brush, and I'm going to come in on the center first, making sure that that connection is nice and crisp. We don't want it to be rounded off. Okay, and then I'm going to do another one just here, again making sure that it's not rounded off and that that connection is really nice and crisp. So you can see here it's slightly rounded off. We want to crisp that up. So just with the very tip of my brush, I'm going in and making sure we haven't got that rounded edge. I'm just going to do another one just here and also on this side, again making sure that it's rounded. Okay, and that's now going to go in for a flash cure. So with a painting gel it's normally 60 seconds, but I'm just going to pop it in for a 30-second cure, just to make sure that it doesn't move and it stays exactly where we want it. So I'm now going to do a little bit of crystal placement on this gold now. So I've got 2 hearts here. These crystals are all available from Crystal Parade, and I've also got a flat zodiac red which can go in the center of our bow, or you can use a pointy back. It's entirely up to you. I think the pointy back will stand proud and just allow us to tuck those hearts in to create that bow. So I'm going to be using the pointy back. So I'm just gonna grab my gel which is going to be used as my crystal adhesive. And I've got a particular brush that I always use for my hard gel. And I'm going to pop a little bit just here. And also on this side as well. Then I'm going to pick up my hearts and create the edges of my bow. So working to this central point that we've created with this crisscross, and then scooching them up. I want to leave a tiny little gap for our pointy back to be able to sit into, okay? So I'm just going to pop those, it's probably about a 2mm gap. And then I'm going to use my torch just to make sure that they don't move. So this one's wanting to move. So I'm just going to hold that with my thumb and then go in with my torch. Just give that a flash cure. And then that will allow us enough time to be able to pop it in the lamp for a full cure. Okay, so that's now going to go in the lamp for a full cure, which is 60 seconds. And then I'm going to just bring this horizontal line out and over slightly. From that vertical line. Okay, so again, making sure that it's nice and crisp. And it doesn't need to be much. I'm only bringing it out by probably 2mm at the most, because we are going to be popping a crystal on here. But we just want that to appear that it hasn't just stopped on the red, it is overlapping. So working my way down, again making sure that it's nice and crisp, okay, and then going into the lamp for a full cure. So this has now had a cure, and we are going to go in and put our pointy back crystal on there. So for my pointy backs, I use a slightly thicker consistency of adhesive, and that is in the form of a clear builder gel. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a dotting tool just to pick a little bit of my builder gel out, just on the edge, on the end, sorry, of my dotting tool, and then I'm going to pop that right in the center and create like an ice cream peak. So you can see that there, we've created that peak. And then I'm going to go in with my crystal katana and pick up my pointy back crystal, sit it down into that peak, so that peak has encapsulated the bottom of that crystal, and our hearts are creating a support. So if I show you from underneath, we've got that support there. So I'm just making sure that's exactly where I want it, and then that's going to go in for a full cure. And then I've got these topaz crystals here. So I haven't gone for a brash gold, I've gone for a slightly more subtle topaz, and this is an SS8. Okay, so I'm just going to give these a wiggle so that they sit nice and flat, ready to be picked up. And I'm going to go into my gel, and I'm going to pop a dot of that gel on the end of each of those horizontal lines, and then I'm going to go in with my crystal and put it on the end. So this is his buttons. Okay, so I'm going to turn that round, make sure that I'm happy with that placement. So if you're not, just scooch them up into place with the end of your pickup tool. Okay, then that's going to go in for a flash cure. And here we have our red bow. So really pretty, really simple, and also super salon viable. So even though this is a pointy back, it's really nice and secure in there. And you've got your flat backs that are securing that pointy back as well. And it's a super smooth surface. So even though we've used that glitter, there are no particles sticking up whatsoever. So I'm just gonna finish this nail off, and again pop a dot of my gel, and then go in and pick up my crystals, and pop the other 3 buttons on. Again, making sure now that they're even with the rest of the buttons on the other side. And that they're nice and straight. So I'm going to pop that in for a full cure. So it's entirely up to you with this jacket design if you go in with a matte top coat or a shiny. I'm going to keep it shiny because it will go better with the other 2 nails that we are doing for this design set. So I'm just going to grab my shiny top coat, and I'm going to use this straight from the bottle, but it's super important that you do not go over your crystals, because your crystals have facets on them, and if we go over our crystals, it is going to dull those facets and our crystals will no longer sparkle, okay, because it's the facets that give our crystals sparkle. So I'm just coming down that central section, and when I get to a crystal, I'm just literally scooching around and pulling that product away from that crystal. Now, because we're working on a tip, we can come in at this angle, but obviously if we were working on a client, we wouldn't be able to do that. So it's worth popping a little bit of your top coat down onto a palette and then using a smaller brush, which I'm going to do to go into these middle sections between our crystals. But because we're working on a tip, it means that we can come in at this angle. Now I'm just going to pop a little bit of my top coat down, and then grab my gel brush, pick up that product, go around each crystal and then pull that product away, because we don't want this product to pull around the crystals. We want that transition between the nail and the crystal to be flawless, okay? We don't want any lumps or bumps in there. And if your product has started to pool around those crystals, just go in with your finer brush and remove that bulk of product. And there you have it, the first 2 nail designs in our Nutcracker set. So that completes part 1 of my Nutcracker design workshop. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you did, please make sure you click the like button, and if you want to see any future workshops, please make sure you click the subscribe button and that notification bell. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you all soon.